It's recording, right, Cody?
Yes. I'm just pulling up the background slide now.
Okay. Just let me know when I should get started.
You're good to go.
Great. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the January 28th, 2021 meeting of the CV6 Business Affairs and Licensing Committee. My name is Claire Brennan, and I'm the chair of this committee. The meeting is called to order at 6:31 p.m. Tonight, we are joined by Assistant District Manager Cody Osterman. Thanks for being here, Cody. Members of the public, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. If there is time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public. We still need a volunteer to take minutes tonight. So if you can take minutes tonight, please raise your hand through Zoom. I'll also put another caveat to if you know that you haven't taken minutes in a while, I would implore you to step up first here. Give it a second. And we can't start the meeting if no one is going to take minutes. So I have all night, but I'm not sure about others. Okay, I see a hand here. Who are we? Oh, Jeannie. It's not very fair to rely on Jeannie all the time to do these minutes.
I'm going to cut in. This is Kevin. I'm not going to allow Jeannie to do this
Yeah.
for that reason, so I will step forward.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Well, I did see that you did sign the doodle poll, so I appreciate that.
Sure.
But only 5 people did sign up to do minutes. So Cody, thank you for putting it in the chat now, but I'll elevate the people who did sign up. And then if people don't sign up between now and next meeting, you're going to get called out. But thank you to Yusuf, Kevin, Jeannie, Anton, and Susan for signing up to take minutes so far. Again, we're a team here and everyone needs to put in their part. So
I have next month, so you're covered for next month.
Thank you, Jeannie. But the next month, I want someone else on it. Thank you, Kevin, for stepping up tonight.
Thanks, Kevin.
So,
Of course.
really appreciate it. You all should have received several emails from the board office with a link to this doodle. Okay, and Cody just put it in the chat too. Sorry. At the direction of the board chair, each committee meeting must have a designated minutes taker and a designated backup just in case. Well, I don't know if we'll ever get to the backup status here, but let's hope. To eliminate the guesswork, make sure you volunteer for as many slots on the doodle sign up sheet as you can. If more than 2 people sign up for a particular month, that would be glorious, but the office will make sure to distribute the duties equitably and we'll let you know in advance which months you're due to take minutes. Okay, please do so right away. You can do the doodle right now as we're sitting here. That would be awesome. So now we'll take attendance by roll call and Cody will do that.
Okay, committee members, I will call your name. Please unmute yourself and say present. I'll announce when there's quorum. Kyle Athide.
Present.
Matt Bondi.
Present.
Claire Brennan.
I'm here.
Dan Devine.
Present.
Jeannie D'Onofrio. Charles Fernandez.
Present.
Paige Judge.
Present.
John Keller.
Present.
Anton Malner.
Present.
Kevin O'Keefe,
Present.
Frank Scala, Seema Shah,
Present.
Susan Steinberg.
Present.
That's 12 of 13 members present, and that's a quorum.
Great. Thank you, Cody. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and appears on the screen before you. If there's no objection, we'll adopt the agenda as stated. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand through Zoom now. And I don't see any objections, so the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. Thank you. The minutes from the December 17th committee meeting were distributed ahead of time. If there's no objection to those, we'll adopt them as drafted. Thank you, Jeannie, for doing those minutes. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting these minutes, you may raise your hand through Zoom now. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the 17th of December meeting are adopted and will soon be available on the CP6 website. Thanks, Cody. So in order to conduct this meeting efficiently, we all should observe the following ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. Committee members, if you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. If you click the participants icon, the participants panel should appear and you should find a raise hand function there. If you still have technical difficulty, excuse me, you may click the chat icon and relay your difficulty. The chat function should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information, like an email address that was already stated out loud on the record during the meeting. When a committee member is given the floor to speak, I will identify you and you can unmute yourself so that you can speak. Excuse me. We are required by executive order to create a verbatim transcript of the meeting, so please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. Without further ado, we will get started on tonight's agenda. So the first group up is Westgate, asking for a class change and alteration of their existing liquor license.
Yes.
Is that Max?
Yes. Good evening. May I begin, Claire?
Yeah, if you could just walk us through your application.
Yes. Thank you. Good evening, CB6. I see a number of familiar faces on the screen in front of me, although some new faces as well. For those who do not know me, my name is Max Bookman. I'm an attorney. My firm is Pazetsky and Bookman, and we specialize in alcoholic beverage law. I am frequently before this committee, although I do believe this is the first time I am here with Claire as the chairperson. So I'm not sure when that happened, but congratulations on that position.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have two applications before you tonight. The first is Westgate, which I'll go through now, and then I have Rosa Mexicano later in your agenda, which I'll appear for as well. This application is for the Westgate, New York Grand Central on 42nd Street and 2nd Avenue. With me in support of the application is Mark Mrzinski. He's a senior vice president at Westgate Resorts. I shared my link with him, so I probably broke some technical rule in doing that because his name also says Max Bookman, but he is not me. And also with my name is Felix Maldonado. He is the general manager at the hotel. So this is a hotel. Well, there's been a hotel at this location for many years before Westgate took it over in 2018. It was the Hilton for many years, and before that, it was the Tudor Hotel. You approved Westgate's liquor license when they took over the hotel in around 2018. This is a class change application that you don't often see, and so I just want to take a minute to walk you through what we're actually doing here. This hotel has an existing hotel liquor license, which allows them to serve alcoholic beverages anywhere in the hotel. the bar on the ground floor, the ballroom in the basement, room service. If they wanted to have mini bars, they'd be allowed to have mini bars in the various rooms. One of the requirements of having a hotel liquor license is the presence of a full service restaurant on the hotel premises. You're not eligible for a hotel liquor license unless you have that full service restaurant. In rare cases, if a hotel that has a hotel liquor license either can't or is no longer able to operate its full service restaurant, it triggers a requirement that they get a different type of liquor license. And that's what's going on here. So since March, when COVID began, Westgate has had this hotel shut down for obvious reasons. And they've used that as an opportunity to conduct renovations. They're renovating the entire hotel. And in part of that renovation process, they made the decision that they're not going to keep their full service restaurant. So in doing so, that requires the hotel to get a different license category. And the license category that we're applying to the liquor authority for is a standard on-premises tavern license, the same type of liquor license any bar that normally comes before your committee has. The boundaries of that liquor license will be the ground floor, which contains the hotel bar way in the back, as well as the basement, which contains the ballroom. Other than that technical change in the license category, nothing else is changing. So the operators, the owners are all staying the same. The staff is staying the same. Felix is going to remain the general manager. He's been in the hospitality business for several decades, and his first job was working at this hotel long before it was the Westgate. And so he has roots in the community and at this hotel. So we're before you for that reason, because we're going to be changing the class of the liquor license. So I have these two gentlemen here. I'm here as well. If there are any questions about what we're applying for or anything else, we're happy to answer those questions.
Okay, thanks, Max. I see that Susan has a question, so I'll let her kick it off. Thanks, Susan.
Hi, that was a very concise explanation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, the real Mr. Bookman. I was just curious, the decision to do away with the restaurant, was that a direct result of COVID, or was it, had you found that the restaurant, even before COVID, wasn't generating the kind of revenue that you would like?
Obviously, COVID has had a major impact on the restaurant industry, and that was a major part of it. I don't know if Mark or Felix want to say anything beyond that, whether this was in the works before COVID, but COVID was clearly the motivating issue.
I can add just a couple of things, Max, that the restaurant was primarily used for the breakfast meal period. That's when we had the heaviest. We also had a sizable grab and go area. No different than a lot of the sandwich shops. The grab and go area remains. The bar has a fairly large Starbucks component to it in the morning. That remains. And it just didn't make sense with the type of hotel that we operate to continue the restaurant. The majority of our guests want that quick cup of Starbucks, a pastry, a muffin, and out the door to their business.
Thank you. So when guests go into their room and they open up the little mini bar, there won't be alcohol in it. It'll just be like water and juices and Coke and stuff like that.
Well,
I'm not sure.
We didn't do mini bars. We didn't do mini bars when we brought the hotel back on as part of our conversion. But in the lobby adjacent to the bar is a grab and go section. Similar to a lot of the little sandwich shops up and down the street, where you have the cold case filled with the pre-made sandwiches, salads, pastries, fruit, yogurts, and they can get anything there. We haven't provided room service since we took over the resort.
So
When will renovations be complete?
Right now, renovations are well along. We've got some additional rooms, but the lobby's been totally redone. The majority of guest rooms have been redone, and it's we took the opportunity to go ahead and invest in the hotel and restore it really to its former glory. I mean, it's really coming out wonderful. Certainly, Felix is available if anyone on the board ever wants to come over and look at the property and take them through all the renovations. But guest rooms, and then you can imagine mechanical, because the hotel was aging, a lot of mechanical work, and just a lot of refurbishment to bring it up. But still maintaining the historical exterior on there, the brick surface, and renovating all of that, making sure that that's going to survive as we go forward.
Well, I wish you lots of luck and success after you reopen.
Now,
Thank you,
we're
sir.
looking forward at the city reopening. I'm a big fan of the city, and I've got major withdrawal not being able to go up there. We believe that once we get past the spring, we think the city's going to come back, and we think it's going to thrive.
Hope so. Thank you.
I see that page.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Paige, you have a question? Oh, you're still on mute, Paige, actually. Paige, sorry to interrupt you, but we actually can't hear you.
You, okay.
There you go.
Okay, Mr. Bookman, can you tell the people at the Westgate we're going to miss the restaurant here in to the city? Hello?
Yes, I heard that. They're here, and I will relay that message to them.
Because it was a very big part of places to go to eat. So, thank you.
Heard. Understood.
Sorry about that, Paige. Are there any other questions from the committee? You all don't have any outdoor space, right?
No.
So this is just all.
No, it's all indoors, and actually, I mean, it's really, you have to walk through the lobby to get to the bar area.
Okay, well.
Resolution of no objection.
Okay. Is there anyone seconding that?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. And if there's no objection from other folks who are on the agenda, I think it's fine to have Max speak for Rosa Mexicana now, just since he's up here and his whistle's wet, if that's okay with everyone else.
That's certainly okay with me, and thank you. This one should be fairly quick too, I would hope.
No problem. Okay, so take it away.
Sorry, that's my 1-year-old over there.
Sorry, we need to vote for Westgate. Sorry, first. I spoke too soon here. Now we'll take a vote of no objection by roll call. So when your name is called for your vote, you can unmute yourself and say a, nay, or abstain, or not entitled. Cody, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Roll on that. Sorry.
Kyle Thide,
In favor?
Matt Bondi,
In favor. Sorry about that.
Claire,
In favor.
Dan,
Favor.
Jeannie, Charles,
In favor.
right, Paige,
In favor.
John,
Oh, in favor.
Anton,
In favor.
Kevin,
I'm in favor.
Seema,
In favor?
Susan.
In favor.
All right, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody. Okay, now, Max, if you don't mind running us through.
Sure. Mark and Felix, you're free to sign off now. You've been approved. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for everybody's time tonight.
Best of luck.
All right. So switching gears, and thank you for taking this one. Rosa Mexicano. With me, let me just switch to my notes. With me is Steve Weissman. He's the CFO of Rosa Mexicano. He's having some video difficulty, but he is here by audio. As well as Chris Westgate. He is the CEO of Rosa Mexicano, and he is here in audio and in video. So Rosa Mexicano is a familiar restaurant brand. It's been in New York City for over 36 years. It's Mexican food. It's really good Mexican food. They have locations not just in New York, but in Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, District of Columbia. Their restaurant in Lincoln Center, if you've ever been there, is really beautiful. A place that a lot of people would like to go back to once Lincoln Center is back up and running. This application is essentially to replace the Rosa Mexicano location that closed in your community on 58th and 1st Avenue. That Rosa Mexicano had been there for years. You actually met, some of you who were on the committee that met Chris a few years ago when he took over that liquor license there. There was an application for that, that location, and you met him then. They had to leave the 58th and 1st location. They were not happy that they had to leave, but they did. It's been closed, and they really wanted to stay in the neighborhood. That was an important factor to them when after they left the 58th and 1st location. And so they engaged in a search to try to find a new location as close as possible to that one. And they found one on 2nd Avenue, and that's the location that we're focused on today. But did I give the cross streets wrong? Yeah, 58th and 1st is right. Yeah, and the new location is, what's the new location, Chris? 51st and 2nd? Is that right?
53rd.
52nd and 2nd.
52nd and 2nd. Thank you. So the location that they found has a history, long history of food and beverage restaurant use. It was previously a Bear Burger. Before that, it was a place called Opal that had been there for many years. So they're replacing the Bear Burger at this location. And it's going to be the same Rosa Mexicano that anyone is familiar with the concept knows. It's a true food-focused restaurant with a restaurant method of operation, background music only, real restaurant hours, no dancing, no DJs, nothing like that. And they're looking forward to staying in the community. And they're both here, as well as I, to answer any questions that the committee may have.
Thank you. Oops. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Max. So I saw that you all are planning on using sidewalk seating and implementing roadway seating as well. Was that, did Bear Burger have that previously, or is this a new endeavor?
Well, Bear Burger had a sidewalk cafe. Obviously, that licensing program has ended, and we're in a temporary period where there's the DOT COVID program, which everybody knows far too familiar with. And then starting September 30th, under the City Council legislation, there'll be a new permanent program that the details of which are still being developed. Rosa Mexicano plans on availing themselves to whatever legal program is available at the time that they're open to utilize sidewalk and roadway seating. So be that the DOT program or whatever future program that the city may have.
Sounds good. Do you have an open date set for this?
Chris, so you want to tell them what you're targeting?
Yeah, we'd like to be open late spring, early summer, as soon as we can. Get all of the details of a remodel together. Obviously, this process dictates some of our timeline, but as soon as possible.
I hope that for you too. John has a question, but you have to unmute.
Not a question, just a comment that I've lived a couple blocks from the old Rosa Mex location for years. It was a wonderful part of the community. I was so sorry to see it leave a location 3 minutes from my apartment, but I will make the extra 5-minute walk and wish you all sorts of luck. It's a terrific neighbor and a terrific restaurant. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
So with that shining endorsement, I don't see any other questions from committee members. So if a committee member is so moved
Motion of no objection, I guess I should make that.
Okay.
Second.
I'll second that.
Wonderful. So instead of doing a roll call, I think that we can, I'll ask you all if anyone objects to this motion. You can raise your hand through Zoom now, and we can note that in the vote, but I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Okay, seeing no objections, this motion passes too. So thank you for coming out. And
Thank you very much, everybody. It's nice seeing everybody's faces again. Stay healthy and safe, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
very much.
thank you all. So now third on the agenda, which was listed as second, is a new wine, beer, and cider license for TD Restaurant NY Inc., which is operating at 1030 2nd Avenue. So is someone here to speak on that establishment's behalf? Cody, do we know who was supposed to come for this?
I'm checking my email now to see maybe they indicated some sort of delay or something. So you can move to the next applicant.
Okay, I'll move to the next applicant. So the third one now is Summer Salt. And they're asking for a new on-premises liquor license at 275 Madison Avenue. Is someone from Summer Salt here? Maybe they're on a different Zoom. Darn, okay. So I guess we'll go to Penelope's now, which must be where the Berry Foxes are from on the call.
You can hear me?
I can hear you, yes. If you don't mind walking us through your application, we'd be grateful.
Looks like there were 3 Berry Foxes here today.
Yes, triplets. So is someone going to tell us a little bit about your application?
Sure. This is a restaurant that's been here for many, many years. It's presently licensed with a restaurant wine license. Andrew and Zachary Silverman, who are in the meeting with my name someplace.
Hello.
Hello.
Have decided, based upon their operation of the business over the past year or two, that the business really calls for a full liquor license. They don't have a bar. They're not going to have a bar. The operation is not going to change in any way, so I'm told. And it's just that it's going to be an extra added convenience for their customers, and of course, an extra added stream of revenue for them, which they could certainly use in this time. So that is the, I think, unless I'm wrong, Andrew or Zachary, you tell me, because I think that in a nutshell is really what you want to know.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we do have a bar with 8 seats. Right now, we're serving wine and mocktails and bellinis and so forth. We need to really create a nighttime business and, closing it between 10 and 12 p.m.
Okay, does anyone else have anything to add, or can we shift to questions now? I have to say, similarly to John, I am a fan of Penelope's, and it is a favorite lunch spot for my mom and I, who works around there. I will let anyone from the committee ask a question if they have some. You all are doing outdoor seating now currently, right?
The DOT's, their program, correct.
Mm-hmm. Susan.
I just wanted to ask, what the capacity was. I think you said that you actually stated your hours, but my phone was ringing in the back and I missed it. So capacity hours, and do you have live music?
No live music, Susan, all pre-recorded. We are currently opening at 9 now, but we need to open at 8 a.m. for most of the hospital trade, the graveyard shifts and so forth. As far as dinner goes, we really don't have a dinner now that COVID has hit us, and we're closing anywhere between 7, 8 o'clock and doing, modest delivery and so forth. So.
Thank you.
Does anyone else from the committee have a question?
Yeah, assuming that we get through this COVID issue, what time do you intend to close for dinner after we're back to normal hours?
Well, Sunday's probably about 9 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, hopefully 10, and the weekends probably are 11 to 11:30, 12.
Thank you.
I don't see any other questions from the committee, and I apologize for not doing this for the other two. Oh, Jeannie.
Sorry, I do have a question. If your hours on this application are 11 to 8, does that make a difference when all this is over for us? Do we need to change the hours on this application, knowing going forward that the hours will be extended after we get past the pandemic? Do we need to worry about that? This is a committee question, not,
Excuse me, I believe the answer that the hours you were looking at were the hours that were indicated for open windows from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Right, that's what I'm seeing on the application, but that's just temporary. So this is like to our committee, whether or not we need to just make an adjustment amend the application so it goes beyond 8 p.m. just so you don't have to, go ahead, Claire.
Sorry, I think Barry, the question was asking about hours of operation in general, not just specifically when you would have your windows open. So if you want to make a little edit on the application, I think that's fine. Cody and Kyle can correct me if I'm wrong, but you're seeing.
We certainly can do that to comport with whatever Andrew has said today. Sure.
What are your hours of operation for the establishment? So 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. is on there. And that's what Andrew said, or?
Yes, 12 midnight.
Oh, sorry, I was reading the wrong section. I stand corrected, sorry.
Okay, no problem. Glad we cleared that up. Are there any questions from members of the public? I'm not seeing any.
Motion of no objection.
Oh, sorry, Dan snuck in here. Dan.
Just a quick question. I'm kind of trying to get a better sense of how COVID has impacted your business specifically in terms of kind of the overall revenues. What does it look like?
Well, anywhere between 40 and 65%. I mean, there is a homeless shelter now across the street. There's been a little bit of crime. There's not much action after 7 p.m. I mean, it's not like the 3rd Avenue corridor where there's a lot more action and there's a lot more security and so forth. We're right on the line between the 13th and the 17th precinct, and there's some issues there at night.
So you're down.
We've been impacted quite a bit, yes.
So you're down that much, or that's how much?
Correct. I mean, thank God we have a very brunch-centric operation, Saturdays and Sunday, depending on weather patterns and so forth.
Yeah, the weather on the weekends can really make or break a week sometimes.
And those 3 days weekends like Martin Luther King Day and President's Week and Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend, they really help us out.
Got it. And then going forward, if you did have the ability to have permanent outdoor seating, Is that something that you think would fit your business well?
Unless we're just looking at the DOT platform with the roadside right now, but I don't see there's much room for a sidewalk cafe and so forth. We've never even explored that.
Got it. Okay.
And then, since the restaurant has been open for 18 years, it was never an issue.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, Susan, did you want to?
Yeah, I had made a motion if no objection.
Mhm.
Thank you, Susan.
And Jeannie seconded it. So if anyone opposes this motion, please raise your hand now. Seeing none, this motion passes, and we'll be sending you all affirmation of this, or the office will shortly. So thank you for joining us, and best of luck. And
Thank you so much, Claire, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Have a good night. Huh?
See you at Penelope's.
Thank you. Good night.
Take care. Did anyone else join us for the other two?
I looked at my correspondence with those two applicants, and I don't see that they followed up with me confirming that they could attend despite some multiple attempts. So we'll circle back with them and see maybe they can join us next month, or maybe there was an issue that they couldn't make tonight.
Okay, that makes sense. So I guess we can go to new, or my report now. Yes, the chair's report. So I am not sure if you all heard, but it is hot off the presses, sorry, that the council just passed Intro 1116, which was an intro to support street vendors, and it will expand the availability of food vendor permits, which have been notoriously hard to acquire. It'll create an office of street vendor enforcement who will survey vendors across the city, and will also establish a street vendor advisory board. All three of our council members supported this bill, and it doesn't go into effect until 2022, but will definitely affect our committee and who we are, who we see, and will probably increase the number of street vendors that will come. I'm not sure if anyone else knows more details about this bill that wants to share details, but I'm also trying to get someone from the Street Vendor Project, which is an organization that has been working really intently on getting this bill passed. So maybe we can celebrate with them next month and hear more about what exactly that means for vendors and the city as a whole.
Claire?
Yeah, Jeannie.
Just my thoughts on this. When I heard this on the news earlier today, it made me think about some earlier news articles about real estate and these vendors. It's so hard for the current vendors to find spots. So there's so much competition, where they set up, how close they are to other shops, how close they are to each other. So it would be great if we could have somebody come in to talk to us about that. I mean, I just don't want to get into this, they'll be fighting with each other, and then are we going to play cops on that? Like, how do they get their space? Where do they go? In our district. So I would be really interested to hear how this all works out.
Yeah, it's new and exciting, but like most things in this city, really a huge undertaking. So it will be interesting, but it definitely is going to support a population that has been historically marginalized and pushed out of entrepreneurship. And I think that hopefully it goes through seamlessly, but
Yeah, maybe we could be proactive then in trying to find space for them, you know, to set
That's
up shop.
I really like that idea, Jeannie. Thank you for suggesting it. Kyle has his hand up.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just as a reminder to everyone, we had pulled in a presenter from the Urban Justice Center, which oversees the street vendor project in, I think it was 2019. And this was actually a conversation that came up, was about how does a policy like this affect the city as a whole, where it makes a lot of sense, but also how does it affect our specific district and community where there is a lot of congestion. And there would obviously be a lot of competition. And at the time we had heard about an issue with some of the street vendors near the hospitals and how there was some sort of, you know, like obviously it was very welcomed because it was a food option for a lot of people around the clock, but at the same time was also disturbance to residents in terms of sanitation, et cetera. But that obviously was a conversation that took place before pandemic, and thinking about how this is important for the local economy and how we want to retake streets and things like that, I think is a really important conversation to have when they revisit us as well. So yeah, just wanted to remind everyone of that.
Yeah. Thanks, Kyle. Dan Devine had a question.
Yeah, also to piggyback on what Kyle said, I think something that we should definitely look into in conjunction with this is the Open Streets program, what that is going to look like going forward, and maybe have somebody present to us a little bit more about the future thinking around that. Because I think that those two things definitely go hand in hand. It's something that frankly, I don't know what the rationale overall is. And some of the time these things are piecemealed with different organizations and the city council acting in conjunction or kind of with that, not in accordance with them. But something that just off the top of my head concerns me a little bit is that we're super concerned with restaurants going out of business and kind of saving our storefronts and then potentially allowing more open traffic. So on one hand, how are we going to allow more vendors to come into a space, but then also ask the federal government and then the state going down to the city level and then landlords all to bail out restaurants that are struggling? Just kind of as a matter of economics, I don't know necessarily if those two have been rationalized. So definitely agree with what Kyle is saying. And I think we should also absolutely have a presentation from somebody who's thinking a little bit, you know, about the Open Streets project, because I think what we've found from this committee and from Community Board 6 is that we really do have a lot of impact on elected officials in being able to ask some smart questions and put together some resolutions that can be adopted. So, I mean, I think this is the perfect opportunity to combine two things and be smart about it and hopefully try to really positively influence the future of the city.
Yeah, definitely agree. Another point that I had on my report was to commend Kyle and the office on the town hall on open restaurants. I'm not sure if folks were able to attend and participate on it, but that had a lot of the players who are working to implement this program and sustain it. And, you know, there are a lot of players involved, and it was something that had to be put together very quickly and is ever changing, unfortunately, to I think some businesses, you know, detriment, especially in the beginning of it. But there was that open house that happened recently. That was a pretty good summary of what's going on. But I think thinking about the future and what, you know, stays in a permanent setting, we definitely should be vocal on how we vision the streets and this space being used in order to support businesses. Yeah, so that hopefully we can hear more about the street vendors specifically next month, and then just keep the conversation going on outdoor dining in general. I also, SEMA had sent an email that I never responded to. I'm sorry, Seema, but it was about this app called Spread that she got kind of one off, but it's basically like a version of Grubhub or Seamless Uber Eats that is commission free. So restaurants aren't charged to participate in the delivery service app, which has been a topic of conversation, especially during COVID, that a lot of these businesses were price gouging in the time of COVID when folks are required to stay home and potentially scared to go out to pick up their food. These, third-party businesses were found to take an enormous chunk of money from the restaurants. So I think that apps like these are great for us to have on our radar and to promote to the community to kind of continue to help support businesses and give them as much revenue directly to them as we can. I don't know if Seema wanted to add something to that, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but.
No, I think you captured it. I just dropped some of the information that I received in the chat, and I don't know if the links went through, so I'll make sure that I include those as well. But I don't exactly know what the right opportunity is in terms of promotion, and I honestly just got a cold email from them at my work address of all places. But anyway, I just thought, to put it on people's radar, just to do a little bit of outreach even within our community right here. And then, I don't know what the opportunities are, like I said, to do more outreach, but thought I'd put it on people's radar at least.
Yeah, I'm going to download it tonight. Check it out. Yeah, so is there any other old or new business that folks want to bring up? Should we take 2 minutes of silence so everyone fills out the doodle poll? I'm just kidding, but I will be following up with people who haven't done that. That's great. Kyle said that we can add the app to the resource page on the website, and I think that's a wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be great. That sounds
idea.
good.
Yeah, and then once that happens, Seema, maybe let that person know, or I'm happy to take it over if you want to, just so they're aware. That's a good idea. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so seeing no further business. Right. I'll actually open it up to members of the public too, if someone wanted to bring something up here. You all, please do raise your hand now. Not seeing any. So seeing no old or new business, I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 7:19 p.m. Thank you all for being here, and do your doodle polls, please. Jeannie cannot be taking minutes every day. Thanks everyone for being here, and we'll see you around.
Thank you.
Good night. Be safe.
Thank
Good
you.
night.